Hi, hello, how are you all this fine day? I hope that if you're here, you subscribe to this channel. If you're not already, help us get to 500. That'd be great. And check out the description box that's down below. There are social media links, my blog, an email newsletter. Check it out. It's there for you, for your viewing pleasure. And I think the fact that I've tried making this, I believe this is like the 4th time I've started this and I didn't know how to proceed, just illustrates the fact that I need to at least try and talk about this. And it's all about the things about autism and neurodiversity that aren't just quirky. You're not just, you got a little, a weird habit, or just have the charming aspects of autism that is easily acceptable in our normal spaces, our neurotypical spaces, I should clarify. And this came from me sitting down in the first place and realizing that I was left unchecked. I'm usually okay about this, but sometimes I'm not. And that is picking at my skin and my nails, and in this case, it was on my face, and it was a zit. And the remnants are still there. And that's not so fun to talk about. I usually don't talk about the fact that I have really funky nails, and I can pick at parts of my skin to the point where it scars. That's not pretty. We don't talk about that. And there are so many different parts about autism that we don't talk about, and they might not be in that normal list of checking off those key traits about being autistic, because they're not pretty, they're not comfortable, and we're used to hiding them. We're used to keeping them unspoken, unmentioned, even if it's an elephant in the room. We just don't acknowledge it, and it just furthers the stigma, and it really doesn't help anybody. In fact, it's more harm, because they might be things that are part of being autistic, and when we don't discuss them, there's no actual acknowledgement, solidarity behind it, no support behind it. I see this a lot in mental illness, in that we've become fairly comfortable and okay with disclosing that we have or continue to suffer from depression or anxiety. But what about schizophrenia or borderline personality disorder? Those aren't so acceptable. They aren't part of the conversation very much. And it just shows how much more work we still have to do because adults can still have meltdowns, and we have autistic people that, of course, we have a spectrum of different levels of functioning, where I'm here, I'm autistic, but you can also be autistic and need a caregiver and have major sensitivities to light, sound, taste, touch. You might really struggle with everyday life. And just because I'm sitting here and I'm able to speak, I'm not mute, and I'm what might be considered high functioning, doesn't mean that I don't have these really obvious traits that remind me that yes, I am autistic. And whether you consider it for yourself or not, it's still a disability. It's categorized that way, and it's not always fun to talk about, and that's why we need to talk about it. So you might not be at a place where those traits about being neurodiverse is easy for you, and that's okay. We're all on our own journeys, and they're all so different. But know that it is okay, and we can make it okay to be really open and honest. Even when that honesty can be at a point where you don't realize it's hurting other people. And it doesn't look like a Rain Man or a Sheldon Cooper or all of those normal images that we think of. I think just the fact that I'm female and I'm autistic and I'm really open about it can be a hard point for some people, but there's still so much more that we still need to work on. So if you are open to sharing about the more stigmatized traits you might have of being neurodiverse or a loved one, please share in the comments below. We can be a part of this conversation, and I really encourage it, because it's those different traits that keep us feeling really isolated. We don't usually talk about the fact that autistic people, women especially, have a high prevalence of anorexia. We don't talk about potential outbursts of anger or being impulsive. We don't talk about tics that could really make people uncomfortable, like repeating words or, for all heavens, flapping your hands or arms. There's so much. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but I really wanted to at least start something. And I'd love to keep talking about it. So, if you have any ideas about where to go from here, again, share your thoughts down below. It's an open conversation, and I really appreciate you taking the time to listen, to open your mind, and to be a part of something that's so important. Because just you being here means so much. You're already doing so much. So let's keep doing that. And if you're not already, you should just subscribe. And I will see you all next time.